Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show helps raise the bar for all the more sport enthusiasts. Holding it wide open is just what we do. Being a good person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Man, let me ask you, dog. Are you a have to type of man, or are you a must to type of warrior? Right? There's two differences, right? There's big differences right there, right? You see, a have to makes excuses, but a must to, I must do this, it makes a fucking savage. You see, if it's optional, you'll fold when it gets hard, right? But when it's a fucking must, when it's a non-negotiable, you show up no matter what, right? You show up bloody, you show up bruised, you show up burning, you show up no matter what fucking happens in your life because it's a must. It's not I have to do this. It's a I must do this. You see, most men operate in the have to mode, right? I have to work out. I have to eat right. I have to grind, right? And that is why they keep half-assing their fucking goals and burning out like a bike with no oil, right? But the ones who fucking win, the men who rise, the men who they don't have to, right? The men who say, I fucking must to. I must show up for my family. I must honor the man that I said I would become. I must win because I refuse to pass mediocrity to my kids. That right there is the must to type of mindset that will get you to create the life that you know is meant for you. And so today we're cranking up the voltage, my friend. Today we're cranking up your mindset, right? Today we're ripping off the weakness, my friend. Today we're going to be riding into the fire wide fucking open. You see, have to lives in obligation. Must to lives in straight up ownership, right? And so if you feel like you're obligated to do something, you're probably going to have a lot of resistance to go do that shit, right? But if you make it a must, if you take ownership over that and you say, yo, no matter what happens, I must go do this, then that right there creates a powerful move for yourself. It creates a powerful mindset. It creates a powerful energy that most of the times cannot be fucking stopped. You see, I have to, it's outside. It's outside in pressure, right? Because the pressure is coming from the outside and you're like, oh, you have to go do this. You have to go do this. But when you change it, right? And it becomes inside out power, right? That's when must comes into play, right? I must do this, right? Must is inside out power. Have to is outside in pressure. You see, when you say I have to, right? You've already given away your power, right? You've already given away that okay, this is an obligation that I need to do, right? You become the victim of your own goals because I have to do this, right? Now you're already seeing it in this way of negativity, in this way of obligation because I have to go do this, right? But if you flip that shit, right? If you fucking take ownership for what you got to do and you flip it on his head, then you must go do this, my friend. You see, when you create a must, it turns your external pressure into an internal conviction that you will do this shit because it is a must. That is how you take ownership. That is how you land the life that you want to create for yourself. You see, you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to train. But if you want to break the cycle of your old self, right? If you want your kids to say, my dad is a fucking beast, then it becomes a fucking must. It becomes a non-negotiable. It becomes, I must go fucking train at 5 a.m. because I must build myself into the man that other people are going to say, yo, I want to be like that guy. I want my kids to say that I'm a beast. I want my brothers to say that motherfucker's a beast. I want my peers, my colleagues, my everyone around me to say, yo, Randy is a fucking savage. And that right there takes a must type of attitude. You see, if I look at it as I have to do this so they can do this, so they can say these things about me, it becomes an obligation. It becomes there's a negative effect on it. But if I flip it on its head and I say, I must do this in order to me become that man, and it becomes so much powerful. It becomes a non-negotiable. You see, you don't rise from have to, my friend. You rise from I won't live any other fucking way, right? When you change that, when you switch your perspective, then start building this fire inside, right? You start building this passion, this drive, this must do type of attitude that a lot of times nothing will get in your fucking way. You see, have to kills your passion. Must, it ignites it. They're two completely different perspectives on this, right? Either way, probably a lot of times when you say, I have to do this, you're probably going to go do this, but you're going to go do it with a badass attitude. You're going to go do it like it's an obligation. You're going to go do it like, and then when life gets hard, that thing is probably not going to be a have to anymore because it's an obligation. But when you flip it on its head and you look at it from a different perspective and you say, I must do this, it ignites a fire inside. It ignites passion. It ignites something in you that creates the must. You see, when it's a must, there's a fire in your eyes. There's fuel in your blood. There's this passion in your heart that says, I am going to go do this because I must go do this. Right? Have to makes everything a chore, right? It becomes an obligation. It becomes a negative fucking outlook on things because you have to go do it, right? You see, a grind, that when you need to grind and you say, I have to go grind, I have to go work a lot of hours, I have to go do this, right? That's where you lose your momentum. That's when you lose your power. That's when you lose your passion for it because you have to go do it. See, you're approaching your life like a checklist instead of a fucking mission, my friend. You see, when you bring the fire, when you change your perspective, when you when you change the way you look at things, right, and you make it a must, that's when it all changes for you. You see, must brings energy. It must brings intensity. Must, it brings urgency, right? Because you take ownership over that activity that you say, I must fucking do this shit. You see, it's a different perspective shift, right? When I say that I have to film these podcast episodes, then it becomes a chore, it becomes an obligation, it becomes me being like, oh my God, I fucking have to do this shit again. But when I change it to say, I must go do this because I know there's someone on the other side who needs to hear my message, who's calling for me, who's fucking going through some troubled times, who's going through this and that, right? I must go do this. It changes the perspective. It changes the intensity and changes my energy and changes how I look at things. And then I show up with more energy, with more fire, with more drive, right? You see, the engine under your actions, right, produces better actions when it's a must. But if you give that engine the have to type of mentality, then when it gets hard, you're not going to fucking do it. Must is what separates the dabblers from the boys who just settle for what happens. Right? The must is how you dominate. The must type of mindset is how you create a life that more that you can dream of right now. You see, I didn't have to start this podcast. I must start this podcast to serve men because I know that there's men out there who feel lost, who feel soft, who feel stuck in neutral, just like how I was. And so I must go serve them because this is a calling from God that I've been served. Right? I must go do this. I must go build myself. I must go create a movement. I must help others because I was in that point too. See, your actions follow your language. So speak like a fucking killer and move like a fucking king, my friend. Stop having to and start being a must. Your life doesn't change until you say, enough. I'm tired of this shit. I must go do this shit. You see, transformation, it doesn't start with motivation. Most of the time, true transformation, it starts with a decision where you refuse to back down, where you get tired of the life you're going on, where you get like upset with yourself because you're not doing the things that you said you were going to do because you looked at it as, I have to go do that. But when you change your perspective, when you transform your mind into, I must go do this shit, that is when everything starts to change. See, every breakthrough that I've seen in my life, every obstacle that I'm able to overcome, every challenge that I'm able to persevere through in my life has all started with an internal snap where I say, fuck this shit, I'm gonna go do this shit. Enough is enough. I must go do this right now. That moment where trying dies and where must is born and is where it all changes. You see, the man who says, I'm done being fucking average, I'm done being fucking soft. I'm done giving in. I'm done fucking sedating myself. I'm done lying. I'm done living being soft, right? That is a preference, my friend, right? Excuse me, I spoke wrong there. That isn't a preference. That is a requirement. You have to be upset. You have to be tired. You have to be like, you can't fucking deal with this shit anymore for it to become a must. And when you change it from I have to go do it to I must go do this, that's when you create power in your decisions. That's when you create power in your internal mindset, in your internal perspective of what you need to do, because this is what I must do, not this is what I have to do. Fuck it being obligatory, right? Make it ownership. Make it something that you do because you feel it inside you, right? You see, the father who said, I must stop drinking or I'll lose my family, that man built fucking discipline. He built muscle. He built respect. All from that one word, must, right? But you think a man who's like, oh, I have to stop drinking, right? I have to, and maybe drinking is not it's not your thing. Maybe I have to, let's just say the word sedating myself, right? I have to stop sedating myself or I'll lose my family, right? It's already a negative perspective on that, right? But the man who says, I must build the discipline, I must build the muscle, I must build the respect, I must quit the sedation, that is the man who's going to change. That is the man who's going to be powerful. That is the man who's going to have vision. That is the man when things get hard, because they will, that is not going to quit. See, the bottom, the rock bottom, my friend, isn't the end. The rock bottom, it's the beginning of must. So if you're in the rock bottom right now, it's a fucking blessing, right? Because you can't go lower than you are right now. So get up and try to achieve more. And I say fuck trying. Make it a must. You must do this. You must improve. You must level up. You must quit the shit that you're doing right now in order to create a better life for you, right? And so my question for you as we wrap up this episode is this. Where in your life are you still saying, I have to? Where? We say it all the fucking time. Oh, I have to go do this. Oh, I have to do this task. Or I have to go show up to work here. Or no, fuck that shit. That is not how you create a life that is worth talking about. That is not how you create a life that builds fucking ownership over it. That's not how you create a life that makes people look up to you, right? Fuck, I have to. It's a must to, right? And so my question again to you is, where in your life are you saying, I have to? When deep down, you know it needs to become a fucking must. And then my challenge for you, right? So I want you to pick one area this week, whether it be your fitness, whether it be your marriage, whether it be your business, whether it be your brotherhood, whether it be your motorsport hobbies, right? Whatever it is in your life, right? I want you to rewrite that fucking language. I want you to rewrite your mindset. I want you to rewrite that programming. I want you to flash in a new tune, a powerful tune, right? That is going to get rid of the have to, and it's going to load in the programming, the operating system that is going to get you to say, I must do this or nothing is going to happen. I must level up because this is who I am. I must do this because this is who the man I am becoming. You see, your legacy doesn't come from preference, my friend. It comes from obsession. So stop fucking making up the excuses. Actually burn the fucking excuses. Fuel the fire. Let yourself live, right? And move like the man that your bloodline's been waiting on. Because the man that says, I must do this, is the man that creates the life that you say that you want, my friend. Fuck have to, lean in on must to. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling all the motorsport enthusiasts who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back, and let's become the badass motherfuckers that we're all meant to be. Breaking the stereotype is exactly what we're here to do. This movement is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others level up is the mission that God has tasked us with. My brother, if you still haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Smash that fucking button so you never miss another episode. And if you vibe with today's message and it resonated with you, even made you feel some type of way, and you want to help contribute to the growth of this mission that we're on, do me a fucking solid and share this episode with another brother, with another gearhead, with another motorhead, with another man who needs to hear this right now so they can level up their life. I'll catch up with you on the next episode, but till then, live your life wide open, my friend. Peace.